Hello friends, today is the 8th of February 2018 and today I want to continue explaining software engineering concepts. And yesterday we discussed concept of naming, some naming rules in the system to support some naming automatically for some objects. And we use concept of listeners, and today I want to discuss this concept, listeners. For example, what is it? What is the idea? For example, in some system we have different kinds of objects, and for example we have to implement listeners for our objects. And for example, we have some type with objects type 1. Just maybe it is some person, okay, for example, and these objects has the following parameters: name of object and some parameters, some specific fields. And we want to have in the system some hooks, some extension point which we can use to extend the functionality of our system. For example, if some parameters of this objects with type, for example, person, are changed, maybe some specific parameter, maybe group of parameters, maybe name of object and something like this, we want to trigger some action. For example, to add some validation that for example, if we have field some nickname, and we want to have in our system unique nicknames for users, for persons, then we can add validation that the nickname of some person is unique through the system, and we can use listeners repository for this. So we have to configure listeners, and we need to have a repository with listeners. In configuration we have record like the following: for objects with type 1, for example it is type person, on change some parameter, for example parameter 1, maybe it is nickname. If the parameter nickname is changed, we run some specific function, and here we can define, for example, some function, some method. Maybe if we use Java language, we can specify the full path to some class with validation, and to implement this we can in our system use some interface like listener, and the method, the class that will be used here must implement this interface. And for example, this class must implement some method, some specific method that will be used. And here in the engine we have to have a mechanism that will be use our listeners repository to call some listeners. So when the system changes some parameter in the system, should be implemented the procedure that when the parameter is changed, the system must check whether there is some appropriate listeners, and if listener one or several exist, then appropriate action must be called, some function, for example, here. So this concept goes from pattern which is called observer and observable. So we have some object which can be changed, and we want to add some action, some function that will be called if some specific conditions will be held. If some specific conditions are held. So this is the concept. Here I will be finishing. Thank you very much for your attention. Hello from Moscow. I wish you good luck. Bye bye.